men are given more opportunity from birth. Like, you have more opportunity than me. You definitely have more opportunity than her.
How so?
As a man,
How
just
so?
period. As a man, you have more opportunity. Like, don't men get still paid more on the dollar than women?
Yeah, that's still a fact.
That's
okay. False. That's false for real?
That's 100% false.
They changed it for real?
The wage gap based on gender is 100% false.
That's so bad. Nah, I've never seen that shit. Everyone gets paid the same at this point. Like, if you enter a job and you have have a certain type of status in that job for how long you've been there, that's depending on how much you get paid. Otherwise than that, just because of you having a dick and balls, you're not getting paid more nowadays.
I've seen women like how you said at what's it called, construction plants or whatever. They won't get paid the same as a man.
You triggered my
because they do more.
So,
but that's construction. Construction-wise,
but that's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm just going to debunk this right now. There is no wage gap solely because of gender. The reason why women earn less money than men, well, number one, that the 80 cents on the dollar, 70 cents on the dollar, that feminists like to spew all the time, that comes from all working men versus all working women. They don't account for career worked, hours worked, degrees, experience, danger of job. They don't account for any of that. Just all it's just basically all men that are full-time and all women that are full-time. So that's number one. That's the number one issue. Number two, women work jobs that are less strenuous than men, less physically intensive. That's fine, but those are the jobs that tend to pay more, dangerous, strenuous jobs. Number two, women work less hours than men on average. Women take more vacation time than men on average. They're less likely to argue for higher wages. They're more agreeable. They're less competitive. These are all things that are ingrained biologically in women. So it is what it is. Like, women don't earn less money because they're women. They earn less money because of choice. As a matter of fact, let's take it a step further. College campuses now are dominated by women. Like, almost 3/4 of college campuses are run by women. So women nowadays especially have more chance to make more money than men, but they still don't. Why? Because they don't want to go into STEM. They want to go into jobs that pay less, social work, etc. Men dominate STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. Women dominate jobs that are less paying, sociology, teaching, education, etc. So, and here's another thing. You go into Scandinavian countries, right? Jordan Peterson talks about this. Shout out to him. That's one of the most egalitarian societies we have, which means equal. And the women, they showed that when egalitarian is at its highest, the genders actually go into what they want to do even more. Men tend to be more interested in things. Women tend to be more interested in people. And unfortunately, the jobs that are more interested in people don't pay as much because they're not as necessary to the infrastructure. So it's not that women get paid less because they're women. They get paid less because of life decisions. And as a matter of fact, it's illegal to pay women less because of the Labor Act from the 70s.
From the 70s.
Well said.
Yeah. So yeah, the wage gap myth does not, it exists because of choice, not because of a woman being a woman. It's illegal to pay a woman less. And just let's use a little bit of logic here, ladies. If I owned a business, right? And I can get away with paying a woman 80 cents on the dollar, I would never hire a motherfucker.
Exactly. You're saving so much money.
Let me say it another way. Okay, so I'm going to school for X-ray tech, right?
Yeah.
And I was just in clinicals like a month ago. Yeah, whatever. So I was placed in on a clinical site with this what's that word? It's not coworker.
Colleague.
Whatever. They sent a colleague with me. It was a boy or whatever. And like sometimes I would go grab a patient. Hey, what's your name? Your name is da 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 da. When's your birthday? Whatever. And I would start asking them questions like, oh, what's the reason for you coming in? Da da da. And I'm talking to you. I'm asking you these questions, and it's this, that, and the third or whatever to him. And I'm like, but I'm the one that brought you here. It's me. Hello, look at me. And it's like, they just look at men first. Like people just look at men first to talk to them first. And it's just like,
that has nothing to do with pay, though.
I'm not saying, I'm not now. I mean, obviously that you've made your point. Now that you've made your point, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something else. Like,
and as a matter of fact, they did a study at Google, and they found that the women actually get paid more than the men.
Yeah.
Okay, but now I'm not talking about that. You've made your point. Okay. I listened to your point, and you made your point.
So you're saying that the guy got preference over you at X-ray facility.
That's your experience.
Not an X-ray facility. I just mean like period. Like I'm trying to talk to you. I'm trying to give you a conversation. I'm asking you questions, and you're answering him. He's not even talking to you.
Okay.
I'm talking to you.
Well, I guarantee you, if let's say that person went into a daycare, and they were going to leave the child, they would be more interested in speaking to you and not the guy.
I mean, that's probably true.
Men and women are different.
Bing bong.
They are. I never said they weren't.
So, I mean, that might happen. People might have ingrained prejudices and or sexist ideas in their head where they might want to talk to the man instead of the woman.
And they do. What I'm saying is that they do a lot more.
Okay.
Than you know.
Well, welcome to reality. Reality is sexist. You get into nightclubs for free, correct?
I understand.
Well, a
not
woman
all
just
the
showed
time.
us that she can make $45K a week on selling farts.
Not all
Reality
the
is sexist.
But not all the time. I don't get into clubs all the time for free.
Why not?
I don't know. 'Cause I go late.
The point is that
I go late.
Like, yeah, I'll go late.
the point is that
it's
the
like 1 o'clock.
opportunity,
Whose fault is that?
the opportunity is afforded to you
It's all
because
about
you're a
the
woman.
choices. See, we all got
Like
choices.
you're
today.
missing the point. The opportunity is afforded to you because of the fact that you are a woman, which in itself is sexist. So what I'm saying is that sexism exists. It's a part of reality. There's certain benefits that you get as a woman that I don't get.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to enter into the selective service, but I do.
Mm-hmm.
That's sexism. No one bats an eye. But if a woman like doesn't get preferential treatment, that's sexist. I mean, I don't know. I think it's crazy. I think reality is sexist. It is what it is. You just gotta take the punches, and
Yeah,
it is what it
because
is.
what the fuck are you gonna do?
We get hit with sexism too. It's just that men don't complain about it as much as women do. Like men just accept it. Like you ain't gonna get in the club for free, bro. You ain't gonna get the same level of girls that a woman can get as guys. It is what it is, man. Like
Bang bong.
yeah. Anything else?
No.
No. Did you have something?
No, that's true.
Do you believe in the wage gap as well?
I mean, you stated the fact. I'll
Right,
believe
what
your
am I
fact.
supposed to say to your fact? I don't got no facts.
I don't
You
know.
got the facts.
I don't have the facts, but I mean, I know a lot of successful women, so I would hope so.
It's fantastic.
Transgenderism.
A Milwaukee school counselor is suing her school after being fired for speaking out against transgender orthodoxy. Marissa Darling, a radical feminist, spoke out against the ideology of gender identity at a rally that took place far outside her school. And she also spoke about the threat that this ideology poses to the physical and mental health of her students. But after her speech became known to the school authorities, she was fired. They also launched an investigation that could lead to the revocation of her license.
This week, the whole world was stunned to learn the latest lefty lunacy from here in Australia, when at an entire school, all the boys were forced to apologise to the girls for being boys. The story went around the world, and Suzanne Della Basic, who was the journalist from the Herald Sun who broke the story, she joins us now. Suzanne, great to see you. How are you?
Good morning, Rowan. How are you?
Yeah, we're really good. This is a great yarn, so tell us about it. Why you wrote that the parents were furious. Tell us why.
Sure. So parents contacted me really furious about what had happened. They told me that their sons were forced to stand up in assembly and apologise for their gender.
This isn't good enough, but also to gather people's experiences of what happens when they use this data so that we can then use that in Parliament. We want employers to know that we have the back of those people coming forward wanting to have this debate, and that we will act if we see them being silenced.
Okay, Kate Andrews, hashtag #PayMeToo. Are you going to be signing up?
I'm not. When the Me Too campaign first started, it was about women all over the world coming forward with their experiences of harassment and sexual assault. It was very serious, it was very meaningful, and it was organic. Hashtag #PayMeToo has taken the Me Too campaign and it's brought it into an area that is so deeply misleading. I've been on the website, there's very limited information, but what it does essentially is it masquerades as an equal pay website. Equal pay is mandatory in the UK. By law, men and women doing the same work have to be paid the same. But this campaign is trying to conflate equal pay with the gender pay gap. The gender pay gap comes down to a myriad of factors.
What would you say to feminists, specifically those I think you would consider biological women who are in support of trans women being able to access women's spaces like female bathrooms and being able to participate in women's sports?
Are you one of those feminists?
I am.
Oh, okay. Lucky guess. What is a woman?
Somebody who identifies as a woman.
So can I become a woman?
Do you have gender dysphoria?
Thankfully, no. So anyone at any time can become a woman?
No. Because
Well, anyone could have gender dysphoria. You claim it upon yourself. You're a feminist, and you say anyone who has gender dysphoria can transition to become a woman at any time. And you're a feminist?
I am.
What women are you trying to protect?
All women,
That you can't-
regardless
that you
of whether or not they've transitioned.
I wish you well in the coming situation where now, as a feminist, you're going to have to live under the tyranny of men who think they're women. Thank you for being here tonight.
Welcome to this podcast on indoctrinated college feminist ideology. In recent years, there has been a growing concern about the influence of feminist ideology in colleges and universities. Some argue that this ideology is being forced on students through various means, including mandatory courses, campus events, and social pressure. In this podcast, we will explore this issue in depth and try to answer some of the key questions surrounding it. To begin with, let's define what we mean by indoctrination. Indoctrination is the process of teaching someone to accept a particular set of beliefs of ideas without question, often using strong emotional appeals or persuasive techniques. When it comes to college feminist ideology, some argue that students are being indoctrinated to accept a particular set of beliefs about gender, sexuality, and social justice. One of the key ways in which feminist ideology is being promoted in colleges and universities is through mandatory courses. Many colleges now require students to take courses on gender studies, women's studies, or other related topics. These courses often promote a particular set of feminist ideas, such as the idea that gender is a social construct, that gender inequality is pervasive in society, and that women are oppressed by men, which is not true. While these ideas are certainly open to debate, many students feel like they are being forced to accept them without question. All right. In addition to mandatory courses, colleges and universities also promote feminist ideology through campus events and activities. These might include rallies, protests, or guest lecture by prominent feminists. While these events can be informative and thought-provoking, they can also be intimidating for students who don't share the same views. Some students feel like they are being pressured to conform to a particular set of beliefs or risk being ostracized by their peers. Another way in which feminist ideology is being promoted in colleges is through social pressure, and students who express dissenting opinions about feminist ideas may be shamed, ridiculed, or even punished by their peers. This can create a hostile environment for students who don't share the same beliefs and may discourage them from speaking out or engaging in debate. So, what are the consequences of this indoctrination? Some argue that it stifles free speech and critical thinking, as students are discouraged from questioning the dominant feminist narrative. Others argue that it creates a generation of activists who are more interested in political correctness than in real social change. Still, others argue that it creates a sense of victimhood and entitlement among students who feel like they are owed something because of their gender or other identity. Of course, it's worth noting that not all students who take feminist courses or participate in feminist events are necessarily being indoctrinated. Many students find these courses and events to be informative and empowering, and may go on to become activists or scholars in the field. However, it is important to acknowledge that there's a risk of indoctrination, especially when students are not given the opportunity to question or challenge the dominant narrative. So, what can be done to address this issue? One solution is to encourage more open and respectful dialogue on college campuses. This means promoting free speech and allowing students to express dissenting opinions without fear of retribution or being canceled. It also means encouraging critical thinking and debate rather than simply promoting a particular set of belief, right? Another solution is to diversify the curriculum and promote a wider range of perspective on gender and social justice issues. This means including more voices from different backgrounds and perspectives, including those who may challenge the dominant feminist narrative, by exposing students to a wider range of ideas and perspective. We can encourage them to think critically and make up their own minds about important social issues without pressure. Finally, it's important to acknowledge that feminist ideology is not the only perspective on gender and social justice issue. There are many other perspectives and schools of thought, including those that prioritize individual rights and freedoms of a group-based identity politics. By promoting a more diverse range of perspective, we can encourage students to think critically and make informed decisions about their own beliefs and values. All right? In conclusion, the issue of indoctrinated college feminist ideology is a complex and controversial one. While there are certainly risks of indoctrination, there are also many benefits to promoting feminist ideas and perspective on college campuses. Ultimately, it's up to each individual student to decide for themselves, without pressure, what they believe and what value they want to uphold. By promoting open dialogue, critical thinking, and a wider range of perspective, we can help create a more informed and engaged generation of students. Thank you for listening to this podcast on indoctrinated college feminist ideology. I hope this discussion has shed some light on this important issue and encourage you to think critically about the role of ideology in higher education. All right? If you have any question or comments about this topic, please feel free to reach out to me, or share your thoughts in the comment section below. Okay? We value your feedback and look forward to continuing the conversation about this topic. Remember, education should be a platform for critical thinking and the exploration of different perspectives, not a tool for indoctrination. As students and scholars, it's our responsibility to approach every topic with an open mind and a willingness to consider different viewpoints. By doing so, we can help create a more informed and engaged society, one that values free speech, diversity, and the pursuit of true justice for all.